Now then, silly, I'll get to this straight. I won't pillock thee. Hey up and welcome to Barnsley, the town that cares about you and your family. Meet your Chief Executive, Phil Coppard. Salary £140,000 a year, 2,500 quid a week, plus pension, plus expenses, plus perks. Meet Councillor Steve Houghton, leader of the council. He reckons that Phil Coppard's worth every penny for the work that he does for this borough. In 2002, Barnsley Council set up an arm's length management organisation called Berneslai Homes to manage their council housing stock. Meet Helen Jaggard, Chief Executive of Berneslai Homes. She gets £100,000 a year, paid for by you, plus pension, plus expenses, plus perks. Berneslai Homes manages a housing stock of 19,000 houses. There are 9,000 people on the waiting list. The town of Barnsley is one of the poorest in the country, and the average household income for those on benefits is around £12,000 per year. For those working a 39-hour week, 40-hour week on the minimum wage, 12,500 to 15,000. If you're lucky, you might get 16, 18,000, and if you're very lucky, you might be on £20,000 a year. However, if you work for the council in top management, you'll be on 50, 60, 70, 80, 90,000 a year plus. Obviously, income doesn't worry Phil on his £140,000 a year, 2,500 a week, or Helen on her £100,000 a year, £2,000 a week, or their army of deputy directors and assistant directors and directors of this and that and the other on anything from 50, 60, 70, 80, 90,000 pounds a year. The sky's the limit for them, and for us, the floor's the limit. All this is paid for by the poor people of Barnsley, me and you. But you can rest assured they do care about the people of Barnsley, and they do look after us, and they watch down on us from their ivory towers in the town centre and think of what they can do to improve our lives. The Milefield Estate, Grimethorpe. A nice little development for the elderly, the vulnerable, the disabled and housebound. Managed by £100,000 a year Helen Jagger and Berneslai Homes. The folk who live here are mainly pensioners and others on low incomes. But they were happy with their lot and glad to be living in such a caring place as Barnsley, where Phil, Steve and Helen looked after them. They paid £12 and sixpence a week for the district heating system. This pumped heat and hot water around the houses 24/7 and guaranteed them peace of mind. Just remember, a lot of the residents are elderly, vulnerable, disabled, have various illnesses, may be wheelchair bound and need constant hot water for their health and well-being. Sheffield Road Flats, Barnsley, again on a district heating system. More than 500 of Barnsley's elderly and vulnerable people rely on district heating systems. And their bills have doubled and tripled over the past year. That's right, doubled and trebled, and the pensions have hardly risen at all. The usual suspects, Phil, Helen and Steve, along with council officers who recommended the price increases and the councillors who voted for them at the cabinet meeting, are responsible for these rises. They are forcing these vulnerable people into the situation where they have to choose between heating and eating. All this has happened during the coldest winter that Barnsley has known for over 30 years. Caring, sharing, compassionate Barnsley, the town that cares about you and your family. What price now for peace of mind? Meanwhile, back in the ivory towers, where Phil, Helen and the rest of the usual suspects work. Work? That's a laugh, and it's a laugh at our expense. That lot wouldn't know what work was if it came up and bit them on the arse. The same arses that they stick on the most comfortable chairs in the centrally heated offices paid for by us the people. They like to brag off about their new offices and the new wood chip burning boiler, which produces heat for 2.3 pence per kilowatt hour. and for £12,000 a year heats Westgate Plaza 1, the Town Hall and the Central Library. £12,000 a year to heat these three massive buildings. Similar wood burning boilers are being fitted into all the district heating systems. So ask yourself why it costs around £120,000 a year to heat these spaces, these buildings, and only £12,000 to heat these. If anything, your heating bills should be coming down by a few pounds a week, not shooting up through the roof. And these people, Phil, Helen and Steve, have the gall to tell you that your heating is being subsidised by other council tenants. These are the facts of the matter. You do the math. If you want more facts and more information, then just take a look on these websites. The claims that Barnsley Council and Berneslai Homes make that tenants on district heating have been subsidised by other tenants is a deliberate lie, and all the information put out to make you believe that is there to confuse you. And when it comes to subsidy, these are the people that are being subsidised by us, the people. So why don't we do something about it? Why don't we get people in to run our town as we'd like it to be run, for the ordinary people, for our benefit and not for theirs? Why don't we get people in who would run it for the public interest and not for self-interest? Why don't we get people in who help you instead of helping themselves? Why don't we just get rid of these greedy, uncaring, selfish people and get folk in who really care about you and your family? Vote different this time. Vote Devoy.